My mother told me someday I will buy Cali with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hunter Loves Voiceplay podcast. I'm here with another episode and I am feeling very Viking-esque today. Mainly because last week was... Does anybody else feel like last week was just horrible for the sake of horrible? I do. I don't know why. Well, I mean, work was one thing. I'm not going to get into it because there were so many elements that I could talk about and then I'd just be stuck talking about work instead of talking about here. So, so I definitely felt very Viking-esque by the end of the work week. And so then that brings me into this wonderful video out of Voiceplay featuring Rosairo Jr. And it is called My Mother Told Me. Now, this particular song, if I can back up for a moment here, this particular song had been making the rounds on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all of those places, because it seemed to be like almost every cover artist wanted to do it. And a lot of people, like almost every cover artist or every bass in the world had covered it somehow. And I'm like, oh, well, God. Like, I kind of walked into this one with like, oh, here we go again, because everybody had covered it already, right? So it's like, how is Voiceplay gonna be able to make this any different? Well, Mr. Crazy Lane Stein managed to take it into a whole new way that I was not expecting. Let me talk about the song first. The arrangement is crazy. It's definitely in Lane's style. And there goes the washing machine. You're probably going to hear that, unless if I edit it out. But anyway, it's definitely in Lane's style. He's got kind of that, I wouldn't say electronic feel to it, but he does have some of that more poppy kind of feel to it. Not super, but just enough to where it carries it along very well. And having Jose as the collaborator was super fun. He also collaborated with them on Hoist the Colors. There's another episode that I will have to do eventually, but I'll get to it. And Jose is from Rockapella, another amazing acapella group that's been going on for decades. So, check them out. They're amazing. And, if Jeff was here, he would say, look up Barry Carl because he's the man, apparently. He's the man. So that's what he said. And Jose, he's very tall. He's tall. He's very big. Super, super nice guy. Super sweetheart. I remember after My Mother Told Me came out, and I had commented on it, and, as I usually do with every release that gets put out into the world, I try to comment on it just to boost the popularity, right? And he was like the first person to like it. And he's a sweetheart. Like, he's really, really nice. So, super nice guy. And that's what I love about most of the collaborators that have worked with Voiceplay. They've just been super, super sweet people. Hang on. Coffee. That's good. So, there was Jose. And they're all dressed out in Viking garb. And it's incredible. Caesar was not in this one because Caesar had not joined Voiceplay yet. Actually, they had kind of they weren't necessarily still recovering from the loss of Earl, but they still had an empty set, so it was still Lane, Jeff, Ellie, J. Okay, there was 4. There were still 4. So they were still continuing on, and they brought Jose in, and it worked really, really great. His voice is very, very awesome. But the one thing that truly gets me out of this one other than Jeff's earth-shattering subs that happen within, like, the first, like, minute or so, is Ellie. Oh my god. I was like, this is probably the most angry that I've ever seen Ellie in my life, or that I have heard. Not only is, throughout the video, is he angry as hell, he is just going for it. He is raging. And I'm like, I wish I had that ability. I wish I had that ability to sing out my vocal cords until they're ragged. Like, just because I would just love to do that. Because I feel like that would just be such a cathartic release for me. And believe me, I'm an alto at best. And me trying to go up into the higher tenor range and trying to go rock tenor does not necessarily work. It drives me crazy, because it's like I can get up there, but it's like I automatically feel that it's like I'm probably going to be causing light trauma to my vocal cords, and I'm like, that's a no-no. Can't be doing that. You have to be careful doing that. Have to be very careful. So you know that's not for me, and I'm like, damn it, Ellie, you make it look so good, and I wish that I had that. I wish I had that in me. I really do. I mean, I think maybe with practice I might be able to get there, but, oh, God. He makes Angry look so good. And, also, as you'll see in Hoist the Colors later, he gets angry in that one, too, and it's like, yes, please. It's like more of that. Ellie can be pissed off any day, and I will be here for it. Like, I will just automatically just love it. And the funny thing in this video that I picked out on was that they made Ellie to scale. If you look at everybody else, just in the way that the video has been edited, you'll see that he's at scale. He's not shorter than everybody. He's at scale. And it's like, yay, they actually made him a 2-scale Viking for once. He doesn't have to be short for once in his internet career. But yes, Ellie gets super mad. Jeff just blows your head off with his subharmonics. But Lane, in the percussion, I can't even describe how he does it. But I know a lot of it is a lot of good post-production that gets played into a lot of these. It gets placed into the overall recording. And, yeah, a lot of it is just super good production, and a lot of it has just been like kind of an added effect onto the specific track that gives it kind of that push, that gives it that bump, that gives it that, just that extra oomph to it, I will say. Well, just even in the arrangement itself, like, it's just like you're hearing all of these like oohs in the back. And, like, as they're kind of building up to, like, either the chorus or the next verse. And then it's, like, Ellie's little do-do-do-do. I love that. Like, it's just, like, I don't know why, but it's just something that's, like, it got stuck in my head. And it's stuck with me throughout the whole thing. But once Ellie gets to, I think, the third, or I think it's, like, either the second verse or the bridge, oh my god, he just goes off and is super angry. And when he says, like, steady course to the haven, and it's like, he just super rock tenor.
Steady course to the haven.
Like, vicious. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh dear god. Like, I'm like, oh. I'm like, Ellie, that is, ooh. Like, it's just, ooh. It gave me tingles. Like, I'm just like, ha. I'm like, yeah, don't piss that guy off. Ever. Don't piss him off. Because he's showing you right then and there just how pissed he could get. And you don't want angry Ellie after you. Trust me, you don't. And yes, the makeup. Oh my god. Rick Underwood, again, doing the makeup. Okay, so let me kind of describe everybody here. Lane has kind of the, I would say kind of like the chainmail kind of look going on for his like actual outfit. He's got kind of a tribal-ish thing on his one of his cheeks. I can't remember which one it is. And then I think it goes up to kind of his temple area. And then there's Jeff, who has like the faux dead wolf. He has a fur anyway, and it kind of just like drapes over his shoulder. And then he's got the one arm, who has like kind of the tribal tattoos up and down the arm. He's got like all the dirt and everything. Like, they're just, they're dirty. They're Viking, so it's like they're just absolutely dirty. And Jeff apparently likes eating salad. He's a Viking who eats salad, so, because you can't be constipated on the battlefield. It's bad news, apparently. And then he also has like kind of the tribal tattoo on his cheek. Just all airbrushed on, and it's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I think if I missed anything else, I don't have the pictures in front of me, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of go off the cuff here. But yeah, I think Jeff looks like, when he has that darker makeup going on for him, he just looks dead. I don't know if it's just me, but he just looks very, whoa. Like, it's just like, okay. Like, and he's a very handsome guy. Very handsome. But then once you see him in makeup like that, you're like, oh dear Jesus, like, this is scary. Like, hello, please don't hurt me. But, it's like menacing. And, that's what you want. You want him to look menacing, because it's like, in about 4 seconds, if you try to come after him, he's gonna subharmonically punch you to the ground and beat you senseless. So it's like, he's probably one of the skinniest Vikings that probably the world has ever seen. But, it's like, don't let that, mistaken you. That, it's like, he doesn't, like, if he doesn't have muscle, he has the voice, so watch it. Same with Ellie. It's like, he may be the shortest Viking out of the whole entire thing, but he's angry. So it's like, ugh, it's like, nope. Then there's Jay. And, Jay is always, I always find Jay is like the R&B soul of this whole entire thing. Like, he doesn't have to get super angry to show off things. He just brings that soul into the category. And, it's just always fun to see him just have fun with it. And then Lane, of course, crazy. And then for Jay, they used white paint because, it contrasts better. It shows up better. And, yeah, they kind of gave him just, just like a brighter kind of outfit, just to kind of contrast everything, kind of make him pop a little bit more. And I appreciate that. So, and then there's Ellie, who, kind of like Dragonborn, kind of had the same style, but instead he wasn't like Necromancer. He was just kind of more, just a very pissed off Viking. Like, you go through, and like, if you were to go through that video frame by frame, and I know somebody who has done it, myself and a friend of mine, and Ellie just looks so pissed. Like, it's just like, he just looks so scary. And it's like, it works so well for him. Because it's like, almost every frame, it's like, he just keeps getting angrier, angrier, and angrier. And it's like, oh, good on you, Ellie. Oh my god. When Lane arranged it, was it Lane's arrangement? Yeah, it was Lane's arrangement. Or was it? I get mixed up between the two. It was definitely Lane's arrangement, I think. And, it's very one of those songs that it's like, you can listen to it 100 times, but then I always feel like when Jeff hits that subharmonic, I'm instantly transported to some other realm. And like, I don't want to say Mongolia, because that's kind of like a cop answer. Yeah, it just, I've been doing this lately with some of their arrangements, and some of them have been so good lately. They're all good, but some of them are just crazy. And I've just kind of been making my room dark, been sitting in the room, closing my eyes with my headphones, and just reanalyzing and rethinking and like re-listening to it. And it's just like, it's kind of like that visual journey, because it's like, if you don't know the video as well as you think you do, or as well as you have known it, you just get transported to that different realm. And then it's like, this is actually kind of like meditative in a sense. But then, of course, it's not necessarily meditative when Ellie starts screaming in your ears. So it's like, but it's also like sending that message that it's like, hey, if you're pissed off, scream. So it's like, and that's basically how I felt on Friday. I was like, I feel like I'm completely exhausted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I think I'm just going to go home, crash out for 20 minutes on my bed, and then just scream until my vocal cords go ragged. Because it's like, I just need to scream. Of course, it didn't happen. So, but you know, I tried to do it and I failed miserably, but that's okay. I'll leave it up to Ellie. I'll leave that up to Ellie. I'll leave him up to doing the screaming. But yes, Ellie gets very mad, and my mother told me. And the song itself, it's definitely, you know, Norse related. And I need to read up more on my Norse mythology. My God, I am so behind on it. Like, I think even when I did, like, kind of like Dragonborn, like, it wasn't necessarily Norse related, but it was like, you know, like I'm glad that, you know, that I get those comments and I receive, you know, a little bit more of a historical lesson, because it's like a lot of the stuff that people are interested in, the lore of all of it, it's like either I don't play it or I've just listened to it by ear on YouTube. Yeah, that's basically where I fall from. So then this is just very basic and off the cuff. Oh my God, I'm talking with my hands. Like, you know, could I be any more Italian here? I only have like 3% Italian in me. But, you know, anyway. Yeah, like, I love the Viking aesthetic. I love this arrangement of that song particularly, because when you've heard it from every other person and every other cover artist, you're just kind of like, oh, what is this one gonna be? You know, like, how is this gonna be different from all the others? Because it's like everybody has done it, right? But, you know, leave it to Voiceplay to come up with something that was completely different, and something that I have listened to countless amount of times. And, you know, I'm always happy to do so. And, you know, with MP3s and that, it's like I can just carry it on and listen to it. And then there's always those moments where I go back, and then I go back in, and then I'm like, okay, what are some of the things that I can pick up to on the 240th listen that I may not have picked up on the first one? And I've said it before, that's always where Voiceplay is really good with that, because it's like they always have those elements that are in there that to the blind ear, which, you know, doesn't really make sense, but to the deaf ear, on the first time, you're like, I you know, like, I heard that, I thought I heard it, and then it comes back and you're like, whoa, like, pause a minute, let me go back and listen again and again and again. And I have done that. I have listened to their stuff over and over, and I've always picked up on those little tiny pieces that I never picked up on the first time. Or it's either like my brain didn't sync it properly to where it's like, oh, I get it. Like, you did this one before. And yeah, it's super, super good. You know, I could always listen to Jeff just subharmonic in my ears. Actually, last night I found a video that it was Jeff Castellucci's continuous A1, and I had to start laughing because there was clips of his Reigns of Castamere. Again, another episode that I'll have to do at some point. There's just so many episodes. Yeah, just hearing his consistent A1, but then also how the person had clipped it in. It was so funny because it was like in Reigns of Castamere, he's like, oh, more, or so he spoke, and it was like, I think it was kind of like the sentence was like, he spoke to the maiden, and it's like, wait, what? So I had to laugh, but then also I'm just like, him hitting A's always so nice. It's always so pleasing to my ears. So yeah, and there's a yeah, it's so good. It's so good, and they only get better. Trust me. Oh my god. So hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death. I'll post the original. I'll post Voiceplay's version of My Mother Told Me in the description. I will also post in their channel. Support these guys on Patreon. I mean, come on. You get early access. You get snacks. Like I would say for snacks, you get audio tidbits. And how much better can you get than an audio tidbit? I mean, seriously. You get karaoke tracks, you get, you get like early access before everybody else, before it goes out to the public. So, that's amazing. And sometimes you only have to support, you can support at $1 a month, guys. Like that's not much. So it may not seem like a lot to you, but yeah, it's definitely so much to them. It means the world to them. It means that it's like you're supporting them so much. They love you for it. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Go check out My Mother Told Me. It's a great song. Listen to it on repeat. Give it all the love. Give it a like. And also, with this channel, please give it a like, a comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Let them know that I'm doing this podcast. I don't know if the guys are going to see it at some point. If they do, great. If not, then that's okay too. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.